Good evening, friends. Welcome to one more evening of Ahmedabad Management Association. Everybody's talking about AI, and we would also like to not only talk but also understand what AI is. Very importantly, the role of education and the ethics in AI. And we have got a stalwart speakers today. I would be requesting our moderator, to whom I will introduce, and then he will take it forward, Mr. Alpesh Parikh. He is our governing council member, director of Gulmore Greens and Golf Country Club. About uh, 15 years and more than that, he has been actively supporting us at Ahmedabad Management Association, various activities, including this kind of topic is also his initiative that let us bring this topic to the people of Ahmedabad. He has been a Harvard School business student. Beyond his commercial success, Mr. Parikh is actively involved in social initiatives, serving as mentor for budding entrepreneurs and supporting underprivileged children through Gulmore India Education. So thank you very much, Alpesh sir, and all the speakers. I am sure you all have a good time. This is an AI series. Last week, about 2 weeks back, we did one program on role of AI and social media for parenting. This is also in the series of the same, where AI is to be understood in a different way. Likewise, more topics will be coming related to AI. Keep watching our website and our emails. Do join us as and when we have these kind of programs. Thank you very much, Alpesh sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Unmesh Bhai, our Executive Director, for this very generous introduction. Every time I come here, he tells one much better thing about me, which I never knew about. So thank you for that, Unmesh Bhai. Without wasting any time, friends, let's begin with this very important subject that we all know about, but we actually don't know. Is it all in or is it artificial intelligence is what I keep wondering most of the times. And to begin with, without wasting any more minutes, I'm going to start introducing our three very learned speakers we have here today with us. To begin with, we have Mr. Rahul Nawab. He is the president of data and AI at Prowess Consulting with 25 plus years of expertise in data analytics and strategic transformation. He held a senior leadership role, including being the vice president at US Bank and founder of IQR, a company which he later on went on to sell it off after its decent valuation. And now he's working with another company of his own called Provesys. He's a mentor at the Global Insurance Accelerator and executive committee member of the India InsurTech Association, which fosters innovation in insurance. He helps global clients drive digital transformation by leveraging data and AI as core business enablers. Rahul, welcome today here at AMA. The next very learned speaker and today with us is Dr. Vishal Daya. She is a professor and director at Sardar Vallabhbhai Global University, Ahmedabad, with over 2 decades in academia. Started her career in system analytics and training development at ER and DCI and CRIS, contributing to technology education. Her research scholars have received innovation recognition from the Government of Gujarat. She's created an educational content for ePathshala Swayam and authored the book First Step Towards AI From Logic to Learning. She has also been featured on podcasts and other business talks at AMA. Welcome, Dr. Vishal. And last but not the least, we have Mr. Dhruvil Hapani here with us. He's a technical product manager at QX Global Group with 6+ years building AI-driven solutions and data science projects tied to business value. Founder of Teach Easy, an AI assistant for educators to streamline creation of test assignments and lesson plans. He's skilled in Python, SQL, and statistical modeling with a track record of distilling complex AI concepts for varied audiences. Active in the AI community, advocating responsible AI and practical framework for integrating AI into workflows and learning. Welcome, Mr. Dhruvil Hapani. Hello. I think this should be better. So we all can be comfortably seated as we absolutely dig into a question answer round. I'm going to do is ask you very relevant questions to the speakers, and we'll hope that they tell us more in detail about how this is all about and what we can learn from them. To begin with, my first question to the gentleman on my right, Mr. Nawab. Rahul, can you tell us from an industry lens, where do you see maximum AI value creation today, not only for the managers, but for leaders and decision makers? Most of the times we see that from an industry perspective, AI is there, but is it really having that value creation? And how do you go about it for specifically for managers, leaders, and decision makers?
So, all right. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. So the question right now is everybody. I think if I ask the question to the audience, how many of you use ChatGPT today? So everybody's using AI to some degree, right? Now, how do you translate that into scale of value for a business is a bigger problem. So if I ask you, how many businesses that you are a part of that are using AI on a day-to-day basis, how many of you will raise your hand? Maybe the graph just turned from 100% down to 2%, right? So that's the reality, because there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of complexity in turning what is available to us today into a scale of value and turning it into something that we can be confident about from a results perspective. And I'll give you an example and then sort of connect to the question, right? A model, an AI model today can be 80% accurate, and for personal use, I'll be okay with that. I don't care whether it's 20% or 100% accurate or not. But if my insurance company, where you are actually going and doing a claims process, if they are going to give you an 80% accurate answer and you happen to be on the 20% inaccurate side, it's going to be brutal for you. So that's where the challenge is. And so what companies are doing today is trying to go from that 80% mark to 85 to 90 to 99. And in the process, now the other challenge is, okay, now I know 80% of my decisions can be true. I don't know which 80% are true. The second problem becomes, what do I do about the 20? So the way I'm solving it today is, there are new roles being created. It's called human in the loop for quality control. I'm trying to figure out which decisions do I send to a human versus which decisions can I automate. And that's become the latest and the most interesting challenge. So I can be 40% more efficient, and 60% of the time I'm going to send it to a human. Now that role is very different. It is not what we are used to doing, but we are training folks, right? So that's where I would say the world is moving. In 2 years, I think the answer will be very different.
Thank you, Rahul, for opening it up with a big question mark again for all of us. So I hope by the end of this, we'll have more answers coming in. But let's quickly go on to Dr. Vishal Dahiya. And ma'am, could you tell us how early should AI education actually be there in formal learning? Because since like at our age, we really don't know what AI is. So how early should young minds really be catching up onto this?
So if I talk about today's scenario, if you see, most of us are using any form of AI, either through voice assistant or through in our mobile, we are having number of applications which are using AI, and many of our kids are using it. So according to me, and after doing number of research, I found most of the Western countries, they are initial stage, they are teaching problem solving. But in our education system, we are not considering problem solving as a major thing. But according to me, initial stage, we have to make our kids, I think after 4 or 5 years, we should allow them to learn problem solving, whether it's small problems rather than just A, B, C, D, and these are the words. We should say that this is the problem, this is your problem at this age, how you are going to solve it. Because AI is basically solving our issues, our problems. If we can't remember a phone number, so obviously our diary is there. Earlier we used diary, but now we are using contacts of our mobile. So now this is not a problem that we can't retain the phone number. Problem is we can't remember anything. Just think that perspective. So that thing we have to make our kids learn from very initial stage. I think most of the things which we want to make our kids learn is this is problem, this is the solution, this is the logic. So coding become a part of their life. Coding in every sense. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and this is the solution. So we can make them learn from very initial infant stage. I think after 5 years, definitely we have to make them learn. Otherwise, it's difficult for them to cope up the problem solving, obviously, which they are going to do later stage. And thinking we have to inculcate in them.
Thank you. That at least clears one thing important, and that is early as you can start, get on to learning of AI. That's the speed what it is galloping at. Let me ask you, Dhruvil, a question. Since while it's early to learn, it's important, but in real projects that are happening, what is the most common mistake teams generally make with artificial intelligence that you've come across?
Right. So while working with real projects, one thing is setting the right expectation. So people think and people believe that since we are using AI, the accuracy will be 100%. But as Mr. Rahul mentioned, that we get up to 80%, 90% accuracy depending on the type of data that we have, type of models we are using. So that is something which people need to understand, that even though we are using AI, it will not be correct 100% of the time. And that is where change management is very important. So if you are adopting new technology, if you are adopting new processes, the teams who are using those solutions need to be aware that this is what the outcome will be, this is where it can go wrong, and what should they do when systems go wrong. Because if there is no proper change management process, it might create frustration and distrust with this technology and the systems within the organization. So I think that is the most common mistake, is assuming that AI will be right 100% of the time.
Thank you, Dhruvil. Rahul, coming back to you, what do you think is the biggest gap between strategizing and actually putting it into an execution for organizations in context to AI?
So I think the question is, again, like Dhruvil Bhai here said, right? What is 80%? What is the model accuracy? And what is the value that I'm trying to create? Usually, and what I've seen over the last 2 years is organizations, including Microsoft, I mean, they have come up with a term called frontier firm. Frontier firm is essentially with the notion of saying, I only need 80% of my staff. Well, I don't need 80% of my staff from today in the next 5 years. I only need 20% of my team to do what I'm doing today. Now, that doesn't mean that they're firing 80%, but that also means that the life of that 80% is going to change. But to strategize against it, what they are trying to say is, here are all the tools in the arsenal. There is a flurry of Copilot tools that they have created. How do I make sure that my teams are using these tools to its largest efficacy and efficiency? When we talk to organizations, the CEO has heard about this 80% rule, and they are saying, okay, now that means I'm going to fire 20% of my IT staff, because coding can happen with Copilot, and coding cursor is there. A lot of these tools are there that will allow me to code properly. But what they realize in a year's time is that's not true. And in fact, I've hurt my business. So thinking through, like Dhruvil Bhai said, the end state of where all we can use, learning and failing fast versus trying to adapt and say, I'm going to plan for a year, those days are gone. In the past, it used to be the IT projects would be planned for a year, execution would be 2 years, and by the time the project is executed, everything has changed. Now it's about what can I do quickly, learn from it, quickly fail from it, and keep adapting. So, like Dr. Vishal said here, it's about learning problem solving along with AI, not just saying, give this to AI, they'll solve everything, I'll sit back and wait. Our roles are different now in that sense.
Thank you. Quite like that. Learning and failing to take away. Learn quickly, fail quickly, keep moving on, keep adapting to the new situation. You no more have the time to plan it for a very, very long point in time. Let me jump across to Dhruvil and come back to Dr. Vishal. And Dhruvil, my question for you is, how can non-technical professionals work confidently with AI teams? Because that's something happens when you move quickly and jump across and, try to fail. But then the organizations are generally built up with a lot of non-technical people as well. And what happens then?
Right. So the reality within organizations is that the non-technical people or the person who are at the operation sites, they know what kind of challenges there are. They know the business case. They know what is actually happening on ground. Whereas the AI team, they are just working on code. They are developing solutions. So to work confidently with the AI teams, it is very important to articulate the problems very clearly and specifically. So what it is actually that, they are looking to automate, what kind of processes can be handed over to AI. So having that clear communication is very important. And once a solution is built, or in the process when the solution is being built, it is very important to be part of the testing process and helping the developers iterate through the solution, because we won't get the perfect solution in the first attempt. It will take some time, it will take a few iterations. So the operations team or the non-technical people need to collaborate with the AI team. They should not be afraid or scared of AI in the sense that they are going to take away my job. But AI will make it much more easier for these people. It will offload all the manual work, all the repetitive work, and it will free up a lot of time to actually build relationships with your clients, with your team members. So I think communication and clearly stating the problem statement is how people can be more confident.
Thank you, Dhruvil. Dr. Vishal, coming back to you. When we do all of this, the most important question comes as ethics.
Yeah.
So should ethic be taught, since you are also an academician, or should it be taught separately, like have a separate subject for ethics, or it should become an integral part of what you're doing as well?
Actually, there is a term which is called responsible AI. Very, very important, specifically in today's scenario. Because now we have seen the students directly giving their problems to the ChatGPT or Gemini and just finding out a solution out of it. They even don't know whether this solution is right or wrong. Many times it happened, for example, I searched something on Monday, it learns me in 2-3 days, and Thursday I'm searching and giving me some other answer. But because I'm completely biased towards this platform, that this is going to give me the right answer. So then question mark is there in their solutions. So whenever we talk about AI, we should talk about transparent AI. And only thing is we have to make our students and the people who are using it aware that many times it happen, it can give you an inaccurate answer also. As sir said, that your training data and your testing data is different. So if you are training on something and you have not tested on something, so then it create a problem. So same thing happen with the student also. So in academia, we are facing a lot of such challenges. So we say that it should be, you have to take consent while you are sharing any data. But how many of us really reading when we are giving consent? Because we are giving consent. It's not AI which is asking us. We are just giving whatever we are giving, it's learning it and giving us the response. So we cannot blame then AI. Only thing is we have to be aware how to use AI. So there are so many ethical challenges if we talk about privacy, if we talk about security, if we talk about the biasness, because we are seeing many tools which are available in the market, they are biased. They are giving biased opinion. And as I said, you are searching something on Monday and you are getting some other result on Thursday. So how it has happened? So there are challenges. So we have to make AI a responsible AI, and it is a collective action. So it's not 1 day or 2 days. It requires a lot of time to be invested in creating those ethical value system for AI specifically. Thank you.
Sure, Rahul, you wanted to add something to this?
Yeah, can I add a few points to what ma'am just said, right? So let's dumb down AI in terms of what AI is. It's artificial intelligence. It's trying to be your brain. It's trying to be. And what does a brain do? It processes information, uses your experience, and then gives you a response. Now it's not a brain because AI right now is built on 2% of the available data, which your brain is processing at a 100% level, which we don't even know. So there is going to be a gap, right? So when you think about responsible and ethical, we have to sort of teach our brains to think as well, to doubt everything that we are seeing, so that the trust factor starts with us. Now, there is a whole thought process in the market that says every response that AI gives you should have a percent accuracy on it. This is 90% accurate. This is 95%. I don't know if that will solve anything, because you still won't know whether your answer is accurate or inaccurate. The other challenge is it is learning as you go, and the responses are sort of self-fulfilling, right? So if your belief system is in a certain direction, you are going to continuously get responses that always validate that belief system. So to break that notion and motion, you've got to ask questions and responses that are completely opposite to it. Otherwise, you might be loving BJP, and it'll make sure that you are always going to love BJP, versus trying to say that Congress has something good in it. Maybe it doesn't, but maybe it does, right? It'll never give you that answer unless you actually say that, yes, I want to figure that out.
With what both of you just said, actually makes me a little scared, man. So as a leader, I would want to know what actually I should not automate at all. I mean, stick to my old ways of working, what my parents and grandparents have taught me to do, or what the industry has taught me to do, and not automate a certain part of the system at all. And that's for you, Rahul, to tell us.
I think I'm going to be on the complete opposite side. You should automate everything that you can. Because, look, the AI world today, and if you think about the last 3 technological revolutions that have happened, it started with Y2K, where we all thought, and I don't know, half the folks here may not even remember it, but it was year 2000 where we all thought that the world is going to come to an end technologically. It didn't. And in fact, it created a ton of new jobs, and we changed systems and everything. Then, the internet, when it became ubiquitous, right? So before it was ubiquitous, it had been around for 40 years in the US defense system. It was just not being used in a way that we are using it today. And information was sort of for everybody to use, right? Then Facebook came in 2008, and social media happened, and suddenly we were connected to everybody. People who we didn't even know existed, and we were becoming close to everybody. Or, enemies with everybody, whatever you want to do. That's sort of, it brought the world so much together, right? This evolution, revolution, whichever way you want to call it, is going to be about how I'm going to be efficient in my work, in my daily life, push the limits of automation in a way that it's going to be ubiquitous. I mean, every day you're going to wake up and say, I don't know how many of you have heard the term agentic AI. Not many. Just heard a little while back. I can write it here. In a year's time, all of you will be building agentic AI models, because it is so powerful, and it has become part of sort of daily routines for a lot of folks to build specific agents to do specific workflow tasks. Read emails, dissect it. That Gmail already does for you. But read emails and respond to certain emails in a certain way. Now that's interesting. Read a WhatsApp message and respond and ask few questions. Get a response back. That's a chatbot, that's an agent. It used to be a developer's task. Now you can build it yourself. right? So think about what all we'll be able to do once everybody becomes used to this. So I'm in the opposite direction. We should automate everything you can so that we actually push the limit of our thinking.
Well, yeah. Probably we all will at some point in time, and that's why we have such healthy discussions happening to actually build our own confidence into AI as well. But coming back to you, Dr. Vishal, could you tell me what risk do you see if AI education was to focus only on tools and not on thinking?
The major challenge, which I think is critical thinking level of students is affected like anything after implementation of this AI tools everywhere. And specifically, when we were giving them problems, they were analyzing it, they were planning the solutions. But now they are not giving any sort of time to these things. They are just putting everything on the chatbot or this generative AI models, and then they are getting the answers. This is the biggest challenge, that their critical and problem solving skills is actually going down. Earlier, they are planning solutions. They were asking, okay, this is the problem, which book I'm going to read? But now they are not thinking about any book. They are just thinking about a tool. So this is going to create a problem, definitely. And we are seeing that earlier we used to throw into problems and we were automatically finding out the solution by ourselves, by going to the library or talking to people who are having experience, who are actually worked in those areas. But now the thing is, everything the students want and anybody wants, that this mobile is going to sort it out. This mobile is having tools, having technology, and giving us the solution. So the missing part nowadays is critical analysis and finding out a right solution. Because again, as both of them said, that your AI model is trained as per the data given by you. So maybe the answers which you are getting may be not right as per the solutions. So you are not going to find out your path, your ways. If I have to decide my career, I am just giving this as my goal. I'm here right now. Which tools I should learn to reach to this goal? Without exploring, without getting what I am capable of. Earlier, we were talking to 10 peoples, coming out on a conclusion. These are our competencies. These are our positives. These are our negatives. We can go in this direction or that direction. Now you are giving everything to a model, and the model is giving you a goal. So, according to me, the question mark is on your thinking and the path decision capabilities. So that is, we
I
are
guess
facing.
the SWOT analysis is AI doing for you rather than you doing it for
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
You're allowing AI to decide almost everything without using your critical thinking.
Yeah.
So tell me then, what could universities like what you work with, or an institute like AMA do to actually improve on this for the real world? I mean, what are the things that the real world needs, and how we can be part of that, or how can universities like yours be part of that in the correct AI learning?
Actually, initially, we have to give them awareness about this is AI. These are the learning models. This is your supervised learning models where you have a data set. These are the problems. These are the models which are not using any sort of label data. We have to create awareness among the student. Second thing, what we are supposed to do is, some days are without any mobile, without any tools. If we have to improve their critical analysis thinking, so some days are like this, and we have to collaborate in different with industry also, because they are facing challenges of data, as they said, the 90% accuracy, 10% if there is a problem, then how to train it. So initially we have to create awareness, then we have to create a models where there is no mobile, no technology for some time, where they can grow up, and then they are going to use the tools, and they understand that this is the way their problem is actually analyzed and solved, not just giving a tool and just this is giving a path and then go on. This actually where a university role plays, that we have to make them understand everything ethically, morally, and solution wise. In India, there are so many opportunities because we have so many problems, so many problems. But only thing is just giving a problem and accepting a model which anyone else is using at West and we can implement here, it's very difficult. We have to make our students or the people learn the actual scenario of India. the problem solving of India. Not everything is on AI based. No doubt AI is very important. AI is creating opportunities for our students. But only thing is, some days without AI, some days with AI, that can create a win-win model if we want to make them learn.
Fair enough. So let's move to Dhruvil. We haven't had you speaking for a while, so I'm going to ask you, what practical AI skill should your young professionals start building now? So which would you recommend?
Right. So the most important AI skill is asking the right questions. So that is what we call prompting or prompt engineering. So that has already become a role in the industry where companies are hiring prompt engineers to interact with models like ChatGPT or to build certain kind of images and videos. So when we are interacting with these models, the only way we can tell them what to do is by giving them the right prompt. And prompting is not just a single sentence like, create an image of sunrise for me. But we need to provide it a lot of additional details as what is the background, what is the context, what is the main subject, what kind of lighting do we want. In case we are generating images, if we are creating videos, we need to specify the speed of the video, the aspect ratio, the frame rate. So likewise, for each application of AI that we have, there is a specific kind of prompt engineering which goes into it. And that is the most important skill set that is required when we are building with the help of AI. We are using AI to build applications. So we have like Copilot, we have Cursor. So again, when we are building applications, we need to provide them with the right prompt. It should contain the entire requirement of the product that we are building. And until and unless we give it the proper context, the output that we get will not be up to the mark. So again, we can relate prompting to problem solving as well. So as ma'am mentioned, so when we are able to break down the final objective into smaller steps, that is when we can give it the correct prompt, that to achieve this outcome, this is the prompt that we can provide to the model. Once we reach that particular stage, we provide it with another prompt. We break it down into multiple steps. So I think prompting is the most important skill set that young professionals need to focus on.
Thanks. That sort of helps in deciding how to go ahead and use practical AI skills. Rahul, coming to you, what are your thoughts on AI skills mid-level managers need immediately? I mean, like right now, as soon as we walk out of this room, you would recommend mid-level management, you have to know this.
So I'll add on to because I want to answer this question as
Sure.
well. But so prompt engineering and coding is important, but also there is a new role called annotation engineer. I don't know how many of you have heard of this role, but the part where you've got to figure out labeling of data, right? So prompt engineer is asking data questions, building the data, creating data that is already in front of us and labeling it accurately is a very important part of having a good model, right? So like our brain can process people sitting in this room, there could be 100. How can a model that is just saving the same picture process it? It needs to annotate, yeah, this is a head, this is not a head, that sort of stuff. So you need people to annotate. There are companies that are doing billions of dollars in revenue just hiring annotation engineers worldwide. Now, coming back to the mid-level manager skills, right? Everybody is using AI, so that's great. I don't know how many folks understand AI. Maybe that's the first step. And
Many times we mistake AI to be just the next Google. Instead of typing in the Google thing, you start typing in ChatGPT.
which is great, right? Which is a great start. How do you use it in your job is the thought from what ma'am is saying, right? You've got to have that thought. What can you do faster, more efficiently? We actually have a problem of plenty versus in the past. For when we were doing our research, we had to go to the library, actually pick out a book, check it out, and read it. And there was only one book I could consume in a month. Today, I have access to every library in the world with every piece of knowledge out there. and how do I get the most out of it? That to me is a bigger challenge, because I can learn anything. I can become a pilot in a day if I really wanted to. I can become an AI engineer in a day if I really wanted to. So the question is, what applications do I want to create? How do I then figure out what are some of the ways I can actually go in and solve these problems? In our team, right, we might be doing analysis in Excel. And I always ask the question, should we actually use Excel, or can you build an agent on top of Excel? Can you do this more efficiently? So when we are giving an answer to our clients or to our business partners, we are not only answering the question they are asking, but 10 other questions that should be asked once we have the first answer. So we have to start pushing the limit, and as mid-level managers, start thinking critically about what you are doing today. How can you deploy everything that's out there? There is a lot out there. And if you are confused, you are not alone. But I think the start is to figure out what is it that we want to deploy it against.
Thanks, Rahul. Tell me, Dhruil, so tell us, if what Rahul says that it's important to deploy and it's all right to be confused, what do you have to say regarding it being ethical enough? So, because since we are novice at it, we don't know whether even if it is ethical, what we're doing, or it's an absolutely an unethical thing that we're looking at. Where do we draw that line? How do we draw that line is more important.
Right. So even though we are using AI, what we talked about earlier is having human in the loop. So we need to have people who are reviewing the output that AI is generating. If not on a daily basis, but on a periodic basis, like every week or every month, we just analyze the outputs that AI has generated and make sure that it is not diverging from the objective that it was intended to achieve. So let's say we are using AI for customer support, and after a week we realize that it is engaging in talks which are not aligning to the business goals, or it is maybe not promoting our products in the right way. So that is where we again need people to intervene to realign the models and make sure that it works properly. So even though we are using AI, we cannot leave it completely unattended. We need to review it properly. We need to have systems in place which tell the models that this is what you can do, this is what you cannot do. We need to clearly differentiate, have that demarcation. And if anything happens, like if the AI is asked to answer a question which it is not allowed to answer, then it should immediately be handed over to a human representative. So again, taking the example of customer support. So if a customer is angry, we do not want the AI to interact in a way where it is making fun of the person or asking it to calm down when it is not capable enough to do that. So we can have those systems in place where if it detects that the person or the customer is not talking in a friendly manner, it will be handed over to a human expert who has more empathy, who can actually interact with the person in a way that can calm the person down, hear what the person is speaking about. And I think even with ChatGPT, everyone would have experienced that it will always start with an encouraging sentence that that's a very good question, or thank you for asking that. But that does not feel very personal. That is something that, like, it immediately shows that it is an AI bot which is talking to us. Now, if that happens in the real world, the person might get more frustrated, where the customer is feeling that it's a bot which is talking to me rather than a customer support executive. So these kind of guardrails are very important when we are building these systems. And if we are talking about ethics, the security of data is also very important. So whatever data is being captured, we need to make sure that it is encrypted in a way that none of the personal information is exposed. We are not able to pinpoint that this conversation happened with this particular person, or this is what their likings are. So we should have secure systems which are able to protect the identity of everyone who is interacting with the AI tools.
In fact, I was going to ask both of you to add to this, because this is very important one.
Yeah.
So I want you to first add, and then if something is missed out, Rahul, I would want you to add on to this ethical part of execution,
Yes.
please.
So many of you have learned about emotional AI. Many students, specifically, again, I'm saying because most of our cases are from West. So many of the colleges and university, they are promoting emotional AI. When you are giving your emotional, your senses, how you feel, how you act, how many times you are happy, sad, if you are giving such emotions to machine, so it's difficult. But in Western world, they were not having much time. So they were actually going towards these sort of application, which were AI enabled. And nowadays in India also, many of our students or kids or young people are using emotional AI just to understand that what I am feeling right now, because every time parents may be not available, siblings may not be available. So in emotional AI, many cases we have seen students are using all their emotions while discussing with them. Never ever think this is a machine. Machine gives an answer which is fitted to it. So every time, whenever we are going for any sort of system, it should be human in loop. Again and again, we all are saying this word, that is human in loop. So whenever you are using any emotional AI tools, or your young people at your home are using emotional AI tools, we have to make sure what they are sharing and what they are not sharing. It's very alarming situation nowadays, because many of the students we are seeing at our university, many university, when we are discussing कि हमें कोई समझता नहीं है, तो हमें लगता है मशीन अच्छा समझती है, because AI model give them the answer which they want, they feel happy about, which they feel okay, this gives a high emotions to them, so they feel trusted on them. Because we judge them as a human being, we have a habit of judging. Machine is not going to judge. So these tools actually
So should we make our Instagrams not hear our microphones off so that they don't know, they can't judge us?
no, they will learn, because the reel you are watching, the feed you are giving, and how many times you are swapping, and how many seconds you are spending on a particular reel, they are learning. All these are machine learning algorithms which are fitted in your application. They learn about you. They give you certain answer. So here comes the ethics picture, that the platform which we are using, we should be very clear what to share, what not to share, how much share, how much we have to avoid it, because it is going to learn from our data. So we are seeing such cases also when we are doing research. So I'm just from this platform, I just making a humble request to all the parents or the people who are having young kids at home, that please share, give them some emotional binding to them, because now we are seeing that emotional binding is going lesser and lesser, and during counseling we are seeing such type of issues. और जब हम अकेले बच्चे से पूछते हैं तो कहते हैं मुझसे कोई बात ही नहीं करता, मुझे समझता नहीं है, उससे अच्छा तो मेरा मोबाइल मुझे समझता है, मेरी ऐप मुझे समझती है. तो these are alarming questions. So this, we have to know what are do's and what are don'ts. And as a parent, as an educator, as a citizen, we should know ethically what is correct and what is not correct. This is my say on this.
Thank you. That was very important one for sure. Rahul, what is your take on this?
This is an opportunity for AMA to create a session on do's and don'ts, especially as it relates to emotional AI and use of tools in our homes. I hear from my kids as well. Me and ChatGPT thought about this, and we both agreed. I mean, this is exactly what I hear, and I'm like, okay, so what's my role in this? And then the question becomes, okay, what can you tell more than AI or more than ChatGPT? Do you know more than that? Anyways, that's a different battle. But I think we have talked a lot about emotional part of AI. The part that I think is very interesting is the ethical and responsible use of AI. Let's assume that everybody learns what data to share and what data not to share. Let's agree on that. Even after that, what is going to be an ethical guardrail? Is the government going to do something about it? Are ChatGPT and Microsoft going to do something about it? And what are those guardrails going to look like? Is it about decisions that are life and death decisions? That's where you draw the line. That if, and this is real, right? There are examples where ChatGPT said, oh, given what you're doing, maybe you should commit suicide. I mean, this has happened. And that's now they learned about it and they've sort of taken a step back. We don't know what is going to happen next either and how these tools are doing it. But as a business, what we are seeing is there is a line to be drawn in terms of ethical use of AI. We talked about, Will sir talked about customer service and emotional customer service. There is a chatbot everywhere right now. There is an AI agent everywhere. But till what point do you turn that AI agent and then get the human on the call? That's a line that I think we are all figuring out. But the responsible use of AI is essentially saying we'll not share data. So every business is saying, I'm not going to share my data. I want to learn from everybody else's data. So now Microsoft has figured out a way and ChatGPT has figured out a way. We'll depersonalize it, but you can still share the data. So the learnings are there, but the personal information is not out there, right? So that all the models are becoming more and more effective. And what you are seeing is they are drawing the responsibility line. I think that's back to you, Amish.
Thank you, Rahul. That makes sense. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. I just wanted to check. We have time still on us. Your AI caught me. But I have one more question, and that's to all three of you. Anyone can take this up, and that is, we also invariably end up becoming doctors, if I would say. If we are with a little cough and cold, ChatGPT tells us which medicine to take, what's wrong with us, anything and everything. And that's not just one thing, but that's too many decisions that happen in our own life on a day-to-day basis, of which shampoo is perhaps right for us, or which cotton material we should be wearing because it will be suiting us better in a certain way or not. And these are questions which I see people around me asking and absolutely taking decisions also based on that. Now, what would your advice or take be on this to the common people sitting here? Because for us to come and do what you're saying is still going to be a year away when we are into learning and understanding AI to a greater extent for most of us and implementing. But in our day-to-day life, where things happen around us, could you educate and tell us what all should we be doing or ideally avoid trying to do?
That's a very interesting question. I would like to answer with a small experiment that any one of you can perform. So just ask ChatGPT a question. Once it has answered it, just tell it that, you are wrong. Now give me the right answer. It will immediately change its sentence. It will give you the exact opposite response of what it had given you the first time. So what this means is basically this, all these models, which we call them as large language models, are predictive algorithms. And their objective is to just complete the sentence. So whatever question you are giving it, its task is to provide, continue the sentence and complete it in a given number of words. So it does not mean that whatever answer we are getting is true. These models hallucinate, which is again a technical term where they will fabricate facts as well, where something which is completely false, it will tell it in a way where you might feel like it is the truth. And if you start believing it, it might lead to, let's say, personal implications, or if you're using it in businesses, it might lead to some wrong business implications. So it's very important to double check whatever output you are getting from these models. So in terms of medicine, earlier we had Google, where we would search on Google whatever symptom we had, would research, and then we would come up with conclusions. But again, medical professionals have their own knowledge. So they have learned, they have seen so many cases. So we should not replace doctors or engineers or professionals with these tools. We can definitely use them as a guide or just to understand what we are going through. But completely relying on these tools is a mistake. So be it anything that you are using it for, just make sure you are double checking it with other sources. You are referring to some books, you are reading through some blog articles, or taking the advice of some experts.
Thank you, Dhruil. Would you want to add something to that, Dr. Vishal?
Actually, many of us are, I'm just giving one example, that many of us has seen that Uber is changing price with OS is changing, right? And many of the this big basket or these platforms are changing the price based on the OS operating system. Have you noticed that? Or there is a same distance, but prices are different at the same time.
Yes, I've noticed that an Android phone gives me a lesser pricing to an iOS device.
So many, all these things are basically, they are learning from our data. So again, we are almost all of us are saying that data is ours. It is up to us how much we have to provide, and if it is not required at particular time, please don't use it. Only in, especially in everyday life, when we are using any sort of assistant, then we have to see whether really we want to use this assistant or not. And we should be clear all the do's and don'ts of any application, whatever we are using. This is my say, that we should know the do's and don'ts, and don't share everything.
Rahul, do you want to counter that? Okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be. So you asked about the medicine part, and Google Doctor has been around for a long time right now.
That was just a doctor and MD. Now we have a PhD specialist doctor in terms of ChatGPT.
We have a surgeon, almost a surgeon. They are not able to operate, but robotics can actually operate as well. And they are going to be at a much deeper precision level than a doctor will be eventually, right? Now the question is, there were bad doctors and good doctors in the past. And our experience taught us not to go to the bad doctors. Maybe it is because they didn't listen to us properly. Maybe they didn't understand what we were trying to say and didn't give us enough time. There was a long line, whatever it is, right? There are certain questions that from our own experience, if it is just a sneeze, we know we'll have to take Allegra and it'll happen, it's fine. But if it is more than a sneeze, if the sneeze is lasting for 10 days, I don't think we'll trust Google or these PhDs enough to say, okay, now this is your prescription medicine. Thank God for that, right? I mean, of course, there is going to be some more investigation to be done. Maybe they need your blood pressure. Maybe that can be input into the system, and maybe you take it to the next level.
But that anyways happens now with your Whoop and your Apple Watches. So they have all the data.
They have all the data, and they are going to predictively then tell you that if your blood pressure is high, if your sugar level is high, maybe there is diabetes around the corner. But in reality, it might be something completely different. You just had a bad day of stress, and so the opinion. I mean, we have to. It sort of behooves on us to be even more smarter about what decisions we make using what tools. So I think it's pushing us to think even deeper and use our intelligence even more, rather than trusting. I would take it that way.
I'm just want to push you more by asking you that when it says that diabetes is around the corner, how far are we that my ice cream vendor also knows that he should not be serving me ice cream anymore?
I think so. It's really interesting, right? We've already putting calorie counts on ice creams. We're putting calorie counts to the level of detail where what type of calorie is coming in. And then now there is a model that will say, if you insert this type of calorie, here is the impact it's going to have. So I don't think the day is far when they'll just say, hey, you eat this, you better work out for 2 hours after this. And otherwise, bad things will happen if you're north of 50 years, something like that.
Thank you, Rahul. I'm going to ask now all three of you something that we at AMA would want to know. And I'm going to ask you individually. It could be a little repetitive, but the idea is that how we can improve things here at AMA in context to AI. Starting with you, Rahul, how can forums like AMA help leaders adopt AI responsibly and pragmatically, according to you?
I think AMA is extremely uniquely positioned. It does not have constraints of a university structure, a government structure. And the speed at which AI is moving, it is very critical that we actually, I think everything should be about AI right now, right? Every class that you can imagine has an AI element to it. Whether you're teaching cooking, I read you're teaching management, you're teaching export-import policy, anything you're teaching. there has to be some sort of an AI element to it. And like we talked about, there is do's and don'ts. There is how to build type workshops on how to build an agentic AI model, how to deploy certain models in industries that are more relevant here, right? Like in a chemical industry versus a real estate industry. How do you deploy some of the models? I think there is a huge opportunity for AMA to do a lot, in fact.
On to you, Dr. Vishal Dahiya. Could you tell us what role can EMA play in bridging academia and industry on specifically the ethical part of artificial intelligence?
If we talk about there are different courses and there are different what I say workshop sort of thing which can be created, because industry is working in one vertical and academia is in another vertical, but there is a gap. If many times we talk about there is a gap between industry and academia, because there are certain courses which, as per the university or AICT or UGC format, we have to give certain credit. As sir said, that here in AMA you have a huge data sets, we can say industry input are there, academic inputs are there are experts. So we can come up of certain courses which is having, because now the word is going to be hybrid. We cannot say healthcare person should know only the healthcare. AI is integrated in healthcare, AI is integrated in education, AI is integrated in manufacturing. So all these fields, even maximum research is going on in DRDO on with AI defense system, and everybody is talking about AI plus, because Ukraine and Russia we are seeing right now most of the weapons they are using are AI enabled, technology driven. So now AMA is the place where you can offer some courses which is out of the box thinking, which is not credit based, because we have limitation, but you are not having limitations. So there can be number of courses where AI plus healthcare, where AI plus manufacturing, AI plus any other division. That way we can work upon, because it is going to be a collective ecosystem if we have to create awareness through education. And obviously one part should be ethics, definitely in it, because every field, healthcare plus AI plus ethics, healthcare manufacturing plus AI plus ethics, AI plus education plus ethics. So this can be a integrated sort of programs which we can create with the help of academia or industry in AMA.
Thank you. I have taken these notes and we will look forward to getting you all back with such form of programs in due course of time. But coming back to you, Dhruvil, finally, can you tell us how can platforms like AMA help professionals learn AI without fear?
Yes. So I think the biggest fear that people have right now is one, losing job, and second is not being able to cope up with the change that is taking place. So the best way to overcome the fear is to dive into it, to start using AI. So AMA can have courses which are practical sessions, workshops, or hands-on workshops where the faculty along with the participants are actually using AI to build something. So building applications, generating images, generating, creating certain types of workflows, automating their workflows. So once people start using it, the fear will reduce because AI, even though it sounds very technical, but the applications are very easy to use. We have a lot of software tools like n8n or Replit, which makes it very easy for anyone to start building mobile applications, websites. But until and unless you actually start using it, there will always be this fear that AI is something which you cannot use or you cannot do. And I like to compare it with how 15, 20 years back when computers, software started coming up. So we have Microsoft Excel, we have Microsoft Word. So initially people were scared of it, those who did not know how to use computers. But once you start using it, once you familiarize yourself with the software, it becomes much easier and practical. You actually start seeing the value of using these software tools. Similarly, AI is at that point right now where 2 or 3 years down the line, people who are comfortable with using these tools will be more valuable to the economy. But even at a personal level, the work which you do will be much more satisfying. So if you compare manually entering data or writing data on a note in a notebook compared to how you do it in Excel, so Excel is much more easier, much more friendly. You can edit things. Similarly, doing things with the help of AI will make your life much more easier. And the only way to overcome that fear is to start using it. And it does not matter what your age is or how much experience you have. Anyone can start using AI in whatever field currently you are working in.
Thank you. To all three of you, is there any specific app you would like to recommend our audience that we should make it part of our mobile phone? This is what we should have as a tool with us. Other than ChatGPT, we all have downloaded either a free or a paid version of ChatGPT, but
I think you should go on your own exploration journey and figure out what you want out of AI, and then we'll decide what tool to get.
so let us open it up to the audience themselves to, if they have a question, sir, we could take about two, 3 questions based on time, but yeah, sir, go ahead. Yeah, you have the mic, sir.
From AI, some of these search engines are already AI enabled. To that extent, we encounter it, and we perhaps are getting some results. But how do we actually and actively use it, and which applications to search for or find to suit our needs? Individuals, writers, journalists who operate on an individual level.
So again, it depends on what industry you are in, what kind of use case you are working for. But if you are using the Microsoft ecosystem, so Microsoft has a tool called Copilot, which they have integrated in all of their software. So it's in Excel, it's in Outlook, it's in Word. If you are using the Google ecosystem, you can explore Gemini, which they have integrated with Gmail, Google Docs, Google Sheets. So again, it depends on what application or what your end goal is that you want to achieve. And that can be a question you can ask to ChatGPT as well, that, this is what you are working on. What tools would you recommend that you start learning?
Sir, over there. Sir, sir, go on the mic, sir, so that the whole audience benefits with your question.
I'm a senior out of the normal business. So what is the utility of AI for me?
As such, maybe you are using many applications in your phone which are already AI enabled.
Games and things like that.
Are you investing in stocks?
There are.
Are you an investor in stocks and trader or in property? So if you're an investor, right?
It is for the professionals. I am not a professional and I'm at the back end of my life. But still, I want to maintain interest in my life. Can AI help me in this?
Yeah. So again, what is your interest? What is your passion? Is it
I have
investing?
no passion. I play games. I do even hobby programming like in Scratch. Right, as a hobby.
Yeah.
But how AI can implement
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, sir, if you if you have any idea, if you want to build, let's say, a task manager, a task application, which not from a business point of view. Correct. So you can. Right.
I believe, sir, I'll answer from a non-AI perspective because they will only look at it from one direction. But I'm like you, so I'll answer from that perspective. I'm not sure if I can answer it correctly, but I believe, sir, we can use the tool. Whatever makes you happy, it will make you happier. If you are retired but you enjoy playing a game, a certain type of games, you will ask AI about those games. It will come up with more games which will interest you more, which will help you to enjoy that even more than what you are doing right now. Perhaps because you were not even aware that certain things even existed. So it will help you in that format of doing and reaching out and taking a step forward in that direction. It should help you also in deciphering a lot of things if you're interested in understanding what sort of algorithms work, or how did playing a certain game on your mobile phone, why a certain way only it is reacting. It will also help you in perhaps understanding it's the brain behind what it is working also in doing that, in turn helping you to be better than what the game itself or what the computer is playing itself. So I believe these are day-to-day tools that we can keep exploring, because it's such a newer subject for all of us. And while they come with a very technical, either an academic part of it or a business solution to it, for most of us, it also could be when first a mobile phone came in and how we used to fidget with it, or how a pager came into our life existence and how we played with it, to today where we are so much dependent on it that we cannot go anywhere without the phone in our pockets. So it's the same thing, that if you will learn this, it's something which will help you. Also, it probably should help you in having a fair conversation with your other generations also. While you could be retired, but your children and your grandchildren, you will have a very healthy talk with them if you were to know a few things about AI as well.
Yeah, question for everyone. I have few customers, and they are from various background. Like you are on the practical, you are into academy, and you are already have a lots of experience. The customer is having a requirement. He had tried few ERP tools. He tried few other tools, task management, software, and other. Now he's asking. He's a totally non-IT guy. He's in engineering business. He want to build ERP. He don't want the limitations per user license, this app, this much feature, this much limitations. I'm also an IT consultant with 20 plus years of IT experience. Now I am doing study from last more than 1 month that what should really I suggest him, because I do very ethical business. I have lost.
So keep it short. We are very pressed
Sure.
on time. So just
I need
tell
a few 5 points from your all together, that what should I suggest this customer from AI point
So
of
the
view.
way we attack these problems is we conduct actual workshop with a client to figure out what are the tasks that are happening. The CEO might say that these are the 10 tasks that you automate, but the line managers might actually, when you go and talk to them and do a workshop, you might realize it's completely different, right? The challenges and the automation pieces are completely different. And within their ecosystem, I think it's very possible to design a solution that will get them from point A to point B, maybe not to point, nirvana, but I think it's a step in the right direction, right?
probably have time for one last question. So on to you, Pooja. Whomsoever you want, you could give on the mic, and one last question.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, my question is like, this is the same situation like the .com hype we have just seen in the 2000s. So like, how do you see seeing that where this AI boom is going towards? Like most of the companies are also like making not the profit, they are the loss-making companies. So what do you think that where the AI boom is going towards?
So is it a boom or a reality is more of a question.
So there are two aspects to it. One is technical and one is financial. So technically, there is a lot of utility in all the AI tools that are out there. We are seeing productivity gains. We are seeing excess of knowledge, which every one of us over here has experienced by themselves. So AI is going to stay. It's not like the technology itself is a hype and it is going to go away. But how the financial markets are reacting to it is definitely in a way a bubble reacts, where people are investing a lot in all these companies. The share prices are rising. But what I personally believe is that the outcome or the returns are not what people are expecting. So it's not like that in a year or 2 years they will get those returns which they are expecting right now. And I think financially it might be a bubble, but technologically it is definitely going to be there.
Thank you, Dhruvil. And with that, we come to the end of today's this very interesting session on artificial intelligence for everyone, all in, be invested in it, because it's going to not only build awareness, skills, and ethics. Only way out is through education. And that's what we'll try and keep doing here at AMA, while we keep bringing in experts like Rahul, Vishal, Dr. Vishal, and Dhruvil to keep educating us on how we can make AI a part of our day-to-day life. I would like to thank at this point in time Unmesh Dikshit, our Executive Director, along with the whole team at AMA. Thank you, all of you, for bringing us in and letting us do. And more importantly, Rahul, Vishal, and Dhruvil, thank you, all three of you, for being here tonight for us. And last but not the least, all you audience, thank you for being here and sharing such important questions and letting us know about how AI can be a very important part of our day-to-day life. Thank you, all of you, and good night.